Breaking news out of Brazil. Breaking news out of Brazil. Rio de Janeiro. 200,000 people are marching through the streets of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. They estimate potentially 1 million people nationwide have taken to the streets spontaneously. Why? Because they're marching, because they're protesting over rising public transportation costs and the expense of staging the 2014 World Cup Games. The biggest demonstration was in Rio de Janeiro, as 200,000 people joined a mainly peaceful march. In the capital, people breached security at the National Congress building and scaled its roof. The protests are the largest seen in Brazil in over 20 years. In Brazil's largest city of Sao Paulo, about 65,000 people took to the streets. The wave of protests kicked off earlier this month when residents marched against the increase in the price of a single bus fare from 3 reals to 3.20. Authorities said that the rise was well below inflation, which since the last price increase was 2011 had been 15.5%. All right, so you have I know what you're saying, guys. Right there, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. Listen to yourself, lawmakers. You have a 15.5% inflation increase. So the last thing you do to your people is raise the bus fare. Don't say, well, look, it's way below what inflation is. That's the problem, inflation, unemployment, high taxes. The way these initial marches were policed, with officers accused of firing rubber bullets, tear gas at peaceful protesters, further increases the residents and shifts the focus from rising transportation to a lot bigger, wider issue. Now they're saying, wait a minute, you know what? You guys have is corruption. You don't take care of it. We have unemployment issues. We don't trust this government anymore. This is what happens. You might say, well, we just raised the fare. That's what they do in our cities in America all the time. Just raise the toll. Just raise the parking price at the meters. Just raise the prices of this. Raise the price of a little bit here, a little bit there. It's less than what the average inflation is. You just keep doing it. Raise the taxes. Poke us in the eye. Poke somebody in the eye. Poke them in the eye. Oh, we're just listening to your emails. We're reading your emails. We're listening to your phone calls. We're recording it. Poke them in it. Keep poking them. Poking them. Finally, it's something small. Something very small, like raising the fare from 3 reals to 3.20. And the people say, we've had enough. We're sick of it. That's what happens. And it's happening to governments around the world. It's happening because the world is under a serious economic crunch. It's called the Black Horseman of the Apocalypse, galloping through the land and creating the chaos that's ensuing upon this planet. And you can believe this, it's not going to get better on this planet. It is going to get worse. Jesus said it would. Revelation prophesies it will. And all through the Word of God, we have been warned of the hour that's upon us. This is the apocalyptic hour. We're on the brink of the beast. We're on the edge of eternity. Something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. Are you saved? Wars and rumors of wars. Nation rising against nation. Kingdoms against kingdoms. Distress of nations, signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and distress of nations with perplexity, and the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear of what's coming upon the earth. All of these things are just the beginning of sorrows. the genocide of Christians going on right now, even though it's not being really reported. And here's amazing. This is amazing. 1 million people are in the streets protesting in Brazil, and the U.S. national media hasn't covered this yet. This is breaking news. Have you heard about it? No, you haven't, till you found Pastor Begley on YouTube. And he's just a little country preacher in the cornfields of Indiana. What? Somebody needs to cry loud and spare not. Lift up your voice like a trumpet. Show the people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins, and the government their corruptions, and the NSA. And look at this, I just got another article. I want to thank Reverend Gary for telling me about this protest in Brazil. But here we go. Troy just sent me this. Apple, which I love Apple. I've got my iMac. I love Apple. They're awesome for what I do. And look what it says. Apple has received 4,000 to 5,000 requests for customer data from the United States officials during the last 6 months. It became the highest high-tech company to provide some details on its involvement in the National Security Agency Internet Surveillance Program. The request involved 9,000 to 10,000 customers or devices, the company said in a statement on its website. Not all the requests involved the NSA's controversial PRISM program. Some of it had different reasons outside of the Patriot Act, which the company said it did not know about until revelations in the news media on June 6th. The data requests came from federal and state and local authorities involving national security matters and criminal investigations. The most common form of request comes from the police investigating robberies and other crimes, searching for missing children, trying to locate a patient with Alzheimer's disease, or hoping to prevent a suicide. Apple said some types of data are never provided, including FaceTime conversations and requests made through its Siri voice assistant. On Friday, Facebook said it received 9,000 to 10,000 government data requests in the second half of 2012, involving 18,000 to 19,000 Facebook accounts. The company said it complied with 79% of the requests. Apple says it did not provide a compliance percentage, but said it does turn down some of the requests. And from time to time, it sees inconsistencies or inaccuracies in the request from the government. Apple refuses to fulfill it. We will continue to work hard to strike the right balance between fulfilling our legal responsibilities and protecting our customers' privacy as they deserve. Do we deserve it? The government doesn't think so. Now the media that this morning on Morning Joe on MSNBC, Mika Brzezinski and everybody else felt that the president is doing the right thing and that really it's not all that bad. And we should be willing to just go ahead and let the government do whatever they want, read anything they want, listen to anything they want. It's called invasion of privacy. It's called unlawful search and seizure electronically. It's unconstitutional. And that's part of the reason you're seeing people angry, upset, distrustful. And this is another reason why the president's approval ratings have fallen 9% in the last month and 17% among the youth, is because they don't like being violated without even knowing it. They don't trust the government. And neither does the people of Brazil. Folks, pray. Would you start praying for, we need a change. We need a change of outlook. This progressive movement is dangerous. It's on the verge of communistic. Well, actually, it's on the brink of the beast. Give your life to Jesus Christ. This is the last days.